I'm gonna get on the stage real quick. Nice to see you, sir. Good to see you.
Hands full. It's an acoustically perfect room.
Oh boy, that's what I need right now.
So they say.
Oh, right. Yeah, you want me to start over one? Oh, God, no.
Once I get this off, we're gonna move. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. I think I got it in a good spot. Oh, he wasn't in the photo. Oh, he was. Oh, great. I don't know if what would be. Hey, thanks for coming. I think I got a good spot. I think he works at the outside. He works in the west. Yeah, that's cool. And I shot a bunch of stuff out there.
Wes.
So I'm sad that just looked at it and walked off. So I'll go talk to her when it's done. Miss Jackson, she is. No, I should have bought some. That's how I started to see it. There's his brother. It's just like that's his brother. That's his brother.
Good, how are you? Hi, Louise. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Only 10 years. No, I'm going to listen to you. A few words squeezed in at the beginning. That's it. We have lots of other speakers.
That's funny.
trying to say.
Oh, I got that.
What's that?
They'll probably fill it.
There's rain weather to set that where it's set. I think this is the best spot. I've seen them bringing the tripod. I was like, it works. She's working. Yeah. I thought about it. Whether I purchased
Mark.
Oh, we can go with it.
Yeah, I got the one. Perfect. That's perfect.
Oh, I'm like, oh, yes. Oh, to the left. I see.
Jeff. Hey guys, I got one. I was able to get one. Do you think they're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance? If you wanted to check it out. Yeah.
I've got some songs for Greg Wheeler too.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
That might be more appropriate. Kind of what I was thinking.
Okay, we're quieting down a little bit. Awesome, thank you. My name is Jessica Combs. I'm the Executive Director for the Downtown Bremerton Association, and I welcome you to the Quincy Square groundbreaking event of 2025.
That's my phone in my phone.
So we have several people still trying to find a seat. Additionally, there was a gentleman that asked for a program up front, so if you raise your hand, I'll try to get this up to you. I'm just so excited and so thrilled to see this many people turn out for such a monumental event. This is a milestone, and I'm so proud and excited to be part of this. So we're going to get started here in a few minutes. And welcome. I just want to welcome everybody. I didn't really prepare for this. I was put on stage like, hey, tell everybody to have to sit down and that's going to start. But I figured I'd take this moment just to thank everybody for showing up. And I hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the groundbreaking ceremony for our one and only Quincy Square. We made it. My name is Steve Rice, and I'm honored to be your MC today. What a beautiful thing that we can celebrate this today on Dr. Martin Luther King Day, and we have a full house. Again, thank you for coming. It is widely said of Quincy that of all the things he did so beautifully, trumpeter, band leader, composer, arranger, director, producer, that perhaps his greatest gift, and one that set him apart from thousands of other very talented people in the music industry, was his ability to bring people together to create something magical. Nobody commanded the human orchestra like Quincy did. And here we are, more than 10 years after this first What If meeting in September of 2014, where we began to imagine a new vision for our downtown. Here we are together at the Roxy, a whole community creating something magical in Quincy's name. We are all graced by your presence today, by the presence of Quincy's family, and by the presence of so many people who have contributed to this beautiful and unique project. Politicians, council members, activists, visionary developers, project managers and project teams, and tons of everyday folks who just love community and chose to participate. Thank you all, because we are doing something special in a way that no little city anywhere has ever done before. But it's only right that we pause for a moment. And will you join me, please, and offer a moment of silence for the passing November 3rd of Quincy Delight Jones, Jr. Thank you. The purpose of today is to celebrate this moment, but also to set it into the context of Bremerton's past, our struggles and our victories, and into Bremerton's future, into the continuous work we all must do to build a totally inclusive community. And we can better do that by listening to the words of others. We will hear from 5 speakers, including the Honorable Judge Richard Jones of Seattle, Quincy's younger brother. And here, a bit of music, of course. Then we'll go outside to shovel some dirt and feel some love. Let me mention that and thank the Roxy Theatre Foundation for hosting us today. How many of you are here at the reopened Roxy for the first time? A few hands. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. And can I sneak this in just for fun? How many of you plan to attend Music Discovery Center's first Quincy Square Jazz Festival on February 7th? And if you have your tickets, fantastic. Thank you. When we're all done with the shoveling, the Roxy has very generously invited us to come back into the lobby if we wish, where it's warm. They've got a treat for us. Roxy Theatre, thank you very much for having us today and for hosting us so well. Our first speaker is Mayor Wheeler, Greg Wheeler. Greg, if you want to come up. Bremerton Mayor Greg Wheeler is now in his second term. Greg served in the U.S. Navy and retired from a career in the engineering department at PSNS. He is a lifelong resident of Bremerton and has supported the Quincy Square development from day one. Welcome, Mayor Wheeler.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. Just, there are going to be too many individual people or efforts to recognize. And so I just want everybody to know that your individual efforts would have made what we've done today happen. And it would not have happened without them. And so, got a few remarks. Judge Jones, it's very nice to see you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to be here with each and every one of you for the groundbreaking of Quincy Square. Thank you to so many who worked tirelessly to make this day possible. We gathered together to celebrate this momentous occasion on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This day holds special significance as we recognize Dr. King, whose work continues to inspire, influence, and uplift us. We celebrate his legacy today and embrace working together, connection, and the spirit of community with the groundbreaking of Quincy Square. We are grateful to the late Quincy Jones, who was inspired by music as a youth here in Bremerton, for his support of this transformative project. I want to thank his brother, Judge Richard Jones, for being with us here today to celebrate. I also want to show my appreciation, and I said this earlier, and I need to say this again, to all the supporters, contributors, and partners who have been involved in this monumental project. First, there have been many who have been part of the funding efforts. The city of Bremerton contributed $1 million. We have $2 million in state funds. Thank you, Senator Rolfes, at the time you were senator as a commissioner today. $2.5 million in federal funds from our partners in Washington, D.C. Thank you, Derek Kilmer. So the dream of Quincy Square could become a reality. And so, as I mentioned, and it's worth repeating, I do want to thank our congressional members and state legislators all involved behind the two I mentioned, because it doesn't happen alone. It takes vision and it takes people coming together to bring something like this forward. So now I'd like to recognize a few others, and I'll just call them out. Wes Larson, Steve Rice, Yeah, please stand. And Steve Siegel, if you're in the audience, go ahead and stand. Bremerton Arts Commissioners, please stand. You have been huge in this effort. Art committee members and many business and community members involved in this effort. Thank you all for your encouragement and support to move this project forward. Today, we are here to officially break ground on Quincy Square. This place will be a hub for arts, culture, and entertainment. It will be a home to concerts, cultural events, fairs, festivals, and many other events. Quincy Square will not only bring people together and stimulate creativity, but it will also give others a chance to experience the wonderful soul of Bremerton. We are proud that the spectacular Quincy Square mural painted just down the street has generated a lot of excitement already and shows how art, diversity, and culture can come together to elevate and inspire. We have more work underway, including the sculpture of Quincy Jones, interpretive signage, and the planning for future programming that will further support Quincy Square. Now, I am very proud to have grown up in Bremerton, and I truly believe in this city's promise to create a bright future. We are grateful that Quincy Jones saw that promise also. And with humbleness and grace, he gave his blessing to add his name to this amazing project. Quincy Square will be a tribute to his time in Bremerton and to his influential life and career. It will be a setting that engages the heart and soul and enchants us with new experiences and supports diverse voices. This will be a vibrant space where people can gather, celebrate, and connect with one another, and will help cultivate and expand new arts and cultural opportunities throughout our city. Along the way, I believe Quincy Square will be a place that promotes economic opportunity. This public plaza will help spur economic growth in our downtown, across our city, and in the surrounding communities. People will shop, eat, and discover, spending their dollars and supporting our businesses, fueling new ventures, and adding jobs. All of these things will continue to create an even stronger and more vibrant community. Now we are truly celebrating a significant moment today for our city. As we take part in today's groundbreaking, we reflect on the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Quincy Jones' legacy. Quincy Square will continue the strong commitment to celebrating diversity, creativity, and the power of unity and spirit in our community. I'm excited about the opportunities and promise ahead, and I look forward to seeing the impact Quincy Square will have in the years to come. Thank you all for being here today and joining us for the groundbreaking of Quincy Square.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Our next speaker is Robert Harris. Robert is the president of NAACP's Bremerton Unit, 1134. Professionally, Robert's the chief oversight engineer for sound transit projects with Washington State Department of Transportation. I asked him exactly what he did, and he said, I build the new floating bridges that carry light rail across Lake Washington, and I build these big tunnels that go underneath downtown Seattle. Please welcome Robert.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Again, I am Robert Harris. I'm president of NAACP 1134. It is truly an honor to be here today with you today. Special thank you to the Jones family for being here today and supporting this project. Thank you all for joining us today as we come together to mark the beginning of a historic new chapter for the community. Quincy Square groundbreaking. As you can see, construction has already begun on what will soon be a place for all to enjoy. What an honor to have this monumental groundbreaking on a day that we also celebrate one of the greatest civil rights leaders in the world, the great Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King often in his speeches spoke of unity. Quincy Square will definitely be a place of unity, fun, education, cultural engagement, and excitement for the entire community. I would like to say thank you to everyone who has worked tirelessly to make this project a reality. Your dedication and hard work have brought us to the significant moment in which a dream is now a reality. Without your hard work and dedication, we may have not have seen this project come to pass in the most diverse city in Kitsap County. But we are here today, and it is coming. Today's groundbreaking ceremony marks a monumental step forward in our journey. This project is not just about building Quincy Square. It signifies our commitment to growth, education, inclusion, and the acknowledgement of the significant roles African Americans have played in culture, not only here in this community, but across the country. I hope Quincy Square will be a place to inspire young minds, as well as a destination location for all to enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Our next speaker is Akuyea Vargas, and it's my honor to welcome this outstanding longtime community leader and social justice advocate to the stage. Akuyea grew up on the East Coast and arrived in Kitsap County with the Navy in 1992. She founded Kitsap Equity, Race, and Community Engagement Coalition, the Living Life Leadership, and the Living Arts Cultural Heritage Project. She is a lot of things. Army veteran, community activist, arts educator, youth mentor, cultural historian, and a leader in healing racial divisions in our local communities. Akuyea was instrumental in introducing local Black history acknowledgement into Quincy Square project, guaranteeing that African American trailblazers will be honored in our city center. Please help me welcome Akuyea Vargas.
Hey family! Hey family! It is an honor for us to be here and to pay homage to those that came before us, those pioneers, those that made the way easy, which it was not an easy way. They opened up doors. They began to advocate for us to be able to make our community a more equitable place, that all of us could be here in this room. I want you to look to your right and look to your left. And then I want you to say, you are welcome here.
You are welcome here.
It's important that we welcome one another as we move forward, as this nation moves forward, that we treat one another with dignity and that justice does prevail. I pay homage to the late, great Martin Luther King, who paid the price with his own life, that we would be able to sit in the room and look at one another across divisive lines, across race, religions, and across economic development issues. And I say that because capitalism is real, and those that have and those that have not. And Quincy paved the way for many musicians across the nation and across the globe. But we want to acknowledge on this day those pioneers that made the way for Quincy, his family, when they first migrated here. Those that, the Al Carvins, the Larry Greens, and the Dianne Robinsons, and all those that came before us that labored in those shipyards and pioneered here, that we would have a more equitable community and labor force here in Kitsap County. And with that being said, this young woman here, I'd like her to come and introduce herself. This is Dianne Robinson's granddaughter.
I am Tori Robinson. I am Diane's youngest granddaughter, and I just want to thank you guys for having me here today. She is included on the other side of the mural, on the street side, and it's absolutely beautiful. Dianne, unfortunately, couldn't be here today. I'm representing her. She currently is in Pensacola, Florida, still doing work in the community. She actually, at 83 years old, is running a museum dedicated to Chappie James, who was the first African-American four-star general, Tuskegee Airman and fighter pilot. And she has that museum. It's also connected to a flight academy. Kids go and learn how to fly in the summertime. So she is still rock and rolling at 83 years old. And, thank you guys, and I think it's so beautiful. I used to come and spend my summers here, and I haven't been lately, but I will be back. And yeah, thank you for having me, guys.
And last but not least, we want to pay homage to those leaders here and to the late great Bishop Lawrence Ray Robinson, who contributed to this county and this state and to the nation and abroad. We just want to thank the Quincy Jones family for coming and spending this time with us to pay homage to the footprints and the contributions that he has made across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Akuyea, and thank you, Tori, especially for representing your grandmother and coming all the way here today. It's great to have you. Our next speaker is Marty Crutcher. Yeah. Marty, many of you know, grew up on a farm in central Kentucky and joined the Navy in 1955. He retired 24 years later as a senior chief in the submarine service and then worked as a supervisor at PSNS. In 1986, Marty and the late Al Colvin, who also was a Tuskegee Airman, became the first two African Americans ever elected to the Bremerton City Council. A business owner too, his community life includes leadership positions in many organizations, including Sinclair Missionary Baptist Church and the NAACP. Please help me welcome Marty Crutcher.
When you get in your 90s, something about Robinson in her 30s, wait till she get in her 90s. As you know, my name is Marty Crutcher, and my son, which came from Seattle to come over and kind of help me out a little bit. But he told me to make sure that I speak loud enough for people to hear me. I don't speak too loud, I don't talk too loud. And the reason why, I was always screamed at, so I said I would have to talk loud and scream at somebody else. Especially my conversation may not be that great. I just met Quincy's brother, his brother, I believe. And Quincy and I were just about 1 year apart. He was 10 years old, and I was 9 years old. So that's real close to age. I have during my time as a city councilman, we tried to get Quincy's recognition name right where it is down 4th Street. And Roosevelt was one of the people here that supported us, and we could never get anything done. So I'm glad that we got it done. We got a lot of other things done that was considered discrimination. But Martin Luther King and Quincy are two people at my heart. they never got the recognition that they should have gotten, and they donated their life to making this a better place, a better world to live in. I never had a problem whatsoever during my time in office. During Martin Luther King, when it was time for him, when they voted him in and cities passed a proclamation, I didn't have a problem there at all. When I submitted the city to make it Martin Luther King holiday for Bremerton, not one person stood up against me. Well, there were some no's, but thank God for the people of Bremerton. They're so nice. I had no problem with them whatsoever. And I had a lot of projects. And they supported me 100%. My first time coming here in the 50s. And I said, well, I'm gonna take a look around town. And I took a look around town. I said, I won't be back. Because a couple of clubs, the floors were dirt. They didn't have wooden floors. They had dirt floors. What is this place? I came back again in the 60s. I said, Bremerton has improved some. I told the wife, I like this place. she laughed at me. She had a sister in Seattle. So I said, well, we'll leave and we'll give it a thought. After traveling around all the world, all the cities, many countries, I find Bremerton to be the most lovable place, the people that I ever met in my life. I don't want to take too much time for you because you got some good people coming behind me, but I really appreciate and love everyone like I say, support in office, out of office, in my business. During the time we had a little rough time, I formed a Black Business Association. We come together and it exploded. We had restaurants, shops, machine shops, and beauty shops, and whatever you can think of. Today those places don't exist, especially on our side. I was a housing officer for about 10 years. Then I said I'll never tackle it again, although I have a degree in it. But I just appreciate being here, and I've had a wonderful time here, and I see the mayor all the time. This is one of the places I've been to. You can see the mayor walking down the street, and you can wave and holler, he'll speak to you and holler back at you, and I enjoy those days, Here comes the old mayor, he's coming down the street every day just as happy. So I wonder what this guy's got to be happy about. But I support him all the way, God bless him, anything I can do for him, I'm willing to do that. And my final mention is when I was in office, on one side of me he was a captain. He still lives here. And on the other side was Captain Johnson. And I had a fight between those two guys getting things done. I said, just because I'm an enlisted man, don't mean I got no power. So they supported me on everything, and I thank you for accepting me tonight, and God bless you, and enjoy life. And for this young man, you had a wonderful brother. God bless you.
Thank you, Marty, for coming over and sharing the afternoon with us. Now it's my honor to introduce, I had to find my place here, Judge Tracy Flood. Judge Tracy Flood will introduce our featured speaker, Judge Richard Jones. Tracy's bio is virtually impossible to compact into a paragraph. I tried and it doesn't work. From Chicago, Navy veteran, degrees from OC, UW, Seattle University School of Law, private practice attorney, president of Kitsap County Chapter of Washington Women Lawyers, chair of the Civil Rights Law Section, Washington State Bar Association, YWCA Woman of Achievement. That's just the top of the list. Tracy was elected to Bremerton Municipal Court's judgeship in November of 2021, and I remember she was another very pivotal voice in the process to create Quincy Square. I give you Tracy Flood.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am honored to stand before you to introduce to many of you Judge Richard A. Jones on this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday to celebrate the groundbreaking for Quincy Jones Square. I was honored to be one of the signers on the letter to request permission to be able to use the name. And I also want to take a moment to say thank you to then Mayor Patty Lynch for her contributions. So, my good friend, thank you. And the Bremerton Downtown Business Association, who was known by a different name back then. So thank you to all the businesses. Thank you to all of the advocates in the room. Because without you, we wouldn't be here today. I would like to highlight that often on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, people reference the I Have a Dream speech, the Birmingham jail letter. But today, I want to reference his speech, The Summer of Our Discontent. Many of our youth today think that MLK is just a myth, and that's unfortunate. Because of how history is taught, it is up to us to remind and to teach people that Martin Luther King Jr. received the Nobel Peace Prize at 35 years old. 4 years later, he died, fighting for equity, fighting for civil rights. While he was alive, he was one of the most hated people in America. That's often forgotten. But Quincy Jones helped provide financial support, and the proceeds that Martin Luther King Jr. received from the Nobel Peace Prize was given back to the effort. So the connections with the dedication for Quincy Jones Square today on MLK Day is very significant. And the quote that I would like to reference is as follows. From his speech, The Summer of Our Discontent. Negroes are human, not superhuman. Like all people, they have differing personalities, diverse financial interests, and varied aspirations. There are Negroes who will never fight for freedom. There are Negroes who will seek to profit for themselves alone from the struggle. There are even some Negroes who will go over to the other side. These facts should not distress no one. Every minority, every people has its share of opportunists, traitors, freeloaders, and escapists. We are here today again to celebrate with Quincy Jones' family on this historic day. May you know that Judge Richard A. Jones is an Article 3 judge appointed for life. He's now at senior status since 2022. And here's a glimpse into his life as a trailblazer. Judge Richard A. Jones started his career after receiving his degree from Seattle University as a bachelor degree in public administration. Went to the University of Washington for law school. And he, for work, began as a deputy prosecutor at the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. He worked for the Port of Seattle. He also was an assistant U.S. attorney in the Western District as well. Worked in private practice with Bogle and Gates, a well-known, top-notch firm back then. And then King County Superior Court. And in 2007, then President George W. Bush appointed Richard A. Jones to the Western District of Washington. Judge Jones is heavily involved in community service, focusing on diversity and mentoring. He served on multiple boards over the years. One that's notable that stands out is the National Board of the YMCA, the Seattle Kraken One Roof Foundation Board, and he's received numerous recognitions. The Charles E. Odegaard Award, Ellis Island Award, American Bar Association's Diversity Leadership Award, and Outstanding Judge Award. And last year, I had the pleasure to be present for his awarding of the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Lower Miller Bar Association. He's been a champion, a mentor, leader, trailblazer, and it is my pleasure now to present to you Judge Richard A. Jones.
Good afternoon. That sounds wonderful. Just to clear the air, I want everyone in this room to know that Quincy and I had an agreement. He wouldn't practice law and I wouldn't practice music. As I've grown behind Quincy for so many years, people would always ask me, what musical instrument do you play? And I tell them with proficiency, I can play the hell out of AM, FM radio. Don't ask me which station, because there's too many. But I would like to thank the city of Bremerton, the Roxy, and the Downtown Bremerton Association, as well as the current mayor and the former mayor, Mr. Crutcher, our MC, and Judge Flood, a dear friend of mine, for giving us the opportunity to be here today. And before I go any further, I would like to introduce my family, because my family is everything to me. They all know that they are number one in my life, and I live my life like that every single day, and I hope that they all know that. First, I'd like to introduce my wife, Leslie Jones. My sister, Tracy, and by the way, Tracy actually grew up in Bremerton with Quincy. But I also want you to know, I told her she was going to speak after me. In her words, I will kick your butt into Timbuktu if you bring me up on the stage. It's an accurate statement. Also with her today are two of her daughters, Tracy and Dana. And his son Brett and his wife Chelsea are here with his son Dean. And a close friend of ours, we call our sister from another mother from another planet, and that's Patty Savoy. Thank you. When I woke up this morning, we put on Quincy's music, just let it play for a couple hours.
just to get into the mood of what today's celebration was all about. And I want to dispel a concept someone had to share with my wife this weekend. And the person came up to Lester and said, "It's so bad, it's so sad, it's so bad that Quincy couldn't live a few more months to be here today for this groundbreaking ceremony." Let's kill that. And the reason we're going to kill that is because I know Quincy is watching what we're doing today. And if you know Quincy like we know Quincy, Quincy has already assembled what I would call the Heavenly Orchestra. And that Heavenly Orchestra, could you imagine a band if he had his pick up in heaven? Well, maybe he'd have to pick in heaven a couple other places. But if he had his pick, could you imagine? Lionel Hampton, Billie Holiday, Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross, Ray Charles. I could keep on going of all the greats that he's worked with and people he's known for many years. Could you imagine the orchestra that he would put together? And I could see Quincy right now bobbing his head up and down, keeping that downbeat going. With songs like "Baby Come to Me," 100 Ways, Brand New Day from The Wiz. The Wiz is popular right now, but when Quincy did The Wiz, it was a whole different story, different challenge, different opportunity. Want to be starting something, and I know he would be playing as well his closing number, "We Are the World." And guess what today is, Bremerton? Bremerton is the world right now. When Judge Flood called and said that they were going to have the groundbreaking ceremony, I was super happy about that. But I was elated when she told me it was going to be on Dr. King's birthday. And I said, you know, the amazing thing about this is what Dr. King fought for. He fought for equality. He fought discrimination. He fought for the opportunity, primarily for African Americans to be beaten, to have a chance for jobs, for people to stop turning them down for job opportunities. Those are all the things he fought for and died for. That's why we celebrate the birth and death and his living for what he gave each and every one of us. And the irony of the fact that we are here today on Dr. King's birthday is because of what Dr. King fought for was denied to our father. Denied to our father. Let me put in context. My father was a finished carpenter. Finished carpenter is the one that comes and does all the high finishing work on amazing homes. And I hope that you all know who Ida Wells was. Ida B. Wells, great civil rights leader, journalist. My father worked on Ida B. Wells' home for 13 months as a finished carpenter. Now imagine having the opportunity to be a part of history, not in lights, but know that you were a part of her history. And after having worked in a home for 13 months, it was time for the next assignment. And the next assignment was this big, huge power plant that was a government contract that had been awarded. And they wanted the best people to go work on this project. So naturally, when they were picking the best people, my father, Quincy Delight Jones, was assigned to go work in this facility. He walked with his toolbox, proud of the fact that he had been recognized as an expert in his area of work, and showed up. Told him, go home. You can't work here. When they called back to the people that had assigned my father to go work, they told him that Quincy Delight Jones was the best at what he did. I want you to pay close attention to the words that manager told. If you don't remember anything else today, I want you to remember these were the words that were shared with our father. With our father, no Negroes will be working alongside white workers. I'll say that one more time. No Negroes will be working alongside our white workers. Now, to minimize the gut punch, this horrific gut punch,
His follow-up was, but he can come work as a laborer and clean up after the white workers. My father was a proud man. He wasn't arrogant, he was proud. My father said, I'm not gonna clean up after anybody. I'm a quality carpenter, and I will come here, and I came here in good spirit, qualifications to work. They wouldn't let my dad work. I have hanging in my office, if you ever come here, hopefully to the office and not in the courtroom. Some positive things happen in the courtroom too. You can win, for starters, and not go away. That's another win. But I have a picture of my father that was in one of the newspapers, and I have it in my office with my father's saw. It says Quincy D. Jones on it. And I keep that as a constant reminder for me. And guess who else has one of those saws in his home? Quincy Dwight Jones. Exact same type of saw. And as children, our father told us always that this saw can be used to do quality work or can be used to do shoddy work. And think of how that applied to Quincy, applied to the same type of work I do. Quincy could take a music book and look what he could do and turn amazing quality, unbelievable music, lifetime of music. Someone else could take that same musical instrument and I don't want to tell you what it would sound like. Probably sound like me trying to play something. Same thing with me. Take a law book, turn out some fantastic work, written work, or turn out shoddy work. But it was all a question of doing what's quality and doing your very best. Now, that article is a reminder for me every single day of the words that read the caption. Expert carpenter, Jim Crow out of defense contract job. Expert carpenter. The newspaper recognized he was an expert carpenter. Jim Crow out of defense contract job. Now, at the time, my father, they were raising 5 children in Chicago. 5 children in Chicago was tough. It was a tough environment. At that time, we were in the middle of the war. So you can imagine how the streets of Chicago, how tough they were. My father was proud. He went back to the Union, and they started to organize because they were going to try and start some form of a protest to try and make some type of a change. This was not right. This was not going to go down like this. Things were resolved, and my father took a step back and realized this was an ongoing scenario. This was a repetition. It was going to continue to happen again and again. And so my father came home and told his family, I'm going to pack up. There's some jobs in a place called, I think it's called Bremerton. I'm not even sure if my dad knew how to say Bremerton, but he knew there were jobs at the Naval Shipyard. So the first 2 sons, my brother Lloyd, Quincy, came out, Trailways bus, July 3rd, 1943, and they came to St. Clair Heights. To be followed was a mother and 2 sisters and another brother. They came in the Trailways bus a little bit later. It wasn't like you just get on the plane and pack everybody up and say, we're going to Disneyland. We're going to Bremerton. Why are you laughing? You come out of the streets of Chicago, Bremerton did look like Disneyland. But I want you to think about that. My father came to work at the shipyards, and it was a vile, racist, discriminatory act that was a change in everything in our life. Now, there's a book by Malcolm Gladwell that's been out for many years. It's called The Tipping Point. I'm not sure how many people have even read that book or even heard about that book. And The Tipping Point talks in terms of a single event can be a change in life and circumstances for one or for many. In this particular case, think about it. If this racist hadn't said no Negroes work along white workers, my father could have stayed in Chicago. And Quincy would have never been exposed to Bremerton for the opportunity to develop as a fine and quality musician. So when they did get here, they moved up to St. Clair Heights. Now, the way it's been described to me, the way his own autobiography, in his own words, he said it was muddy, it was wet, there were bulldozers around, lots of trees, and not much else. It wasn't the bustle of Chicago. The closest activities were the Army base. Daddy's salary at the time, $55 a week, raising 5 kids. You take $55 a week in 1943, you can advance it to today. That's certainly not close to being a living wage. So you can imagine what conditions were like for Teresa, for Quincy, everybody else in the family. So let me give you an introduction as Quincy came in as an 11-year-old with his brothers from the streets of Chicago and how they were performing and what they were doing to survive. They brought their Chicago ways to Bremerton. Let me give you their first introduction. They were walking around doing what you do at 11 and 12 years old, and look, lo and behold, there was this great, big, beautiful swimming pool. So they took their little dusty butts, ran over and jumped in the swimming pool. They were doing backstrokes, forward strokes, side strokes, everything as the dust fell off. They were in your drinking water. All I can say is, as I drove in today and I passed the City of Bremerton Police Department, I said there was one Jones that wasn't a member of that club in the police department. Now, doing what 11 years old do is they wanted some adventure. They also wanted dessert. And they realized our family didn't have resources to always have desserts after you have a regular meal. It just wasn't the way it worked in our family because of financial circumstances. And so this little crew, they weren't a gang, they were this little crew, group of little boys, said, let's go into the armory. Well, it's a nice way to say, let's break into the armory. And that's exactly what they did for one purpose. They knew that they baked pies, they knew that they had lemon meringue pies, they were fresh, they had ice cream. That was all you needed. And my brother Wayman, before he passed and he was up in age, Wayman could eat a whole quart of ice cream and not even blink. But what they did do is they went in, and they were killing the pie, killing the ice cream. So was Quincy. I'm not trying to immunize him. But what did he do? He decided to go into another room. Pushed the door open aggressively. Basically, he broke into another room. My terminology, that's 2 felonies. But we'll talk about that. Statute limitations expired. So when he went into the other room, he saw an upright piano. Now he knew that an instrument like that was completely off grounds because in Chicago there's a woman that lived above them and she had a piano. She sang, she played, she's wonderful. But you keep your little raggedy fingers off my piano. She wouldn't let any kids touch a piano. Quincy had a natural curiosity, I think, even back then. He walked into that room, went up to the piano, and he poked it a couple times. He put both hands on it. And he's told me, he's told the world, he's told our family that there's an energy like lightning that went through his entire body. He said he felt no more loneliness. He felt no poverty. He felt no shame. He felt no anger, no frustration. And for the first time, he felt this energy. And he said he knew right then and felt God coming into him saying, this is what you will do for the rest of your life. Now, I wish those were my words. Those are my brother's words that he shared with us countless times, how music came into his life. Look at his music. Lady of My Life, 100 Ways. A lot of the music that Quincy wrote about love was really about his love of music. That truly was a lady in his life. Now, Quincy kept breaking into this room so many times that Miss Akers finally agreed to say, let's unlock the door so he can get in here and not have to keep breaking it up. I guess he got to about 8 felonies and she figured it was time for him to have access. No, Quincy changed then. He completely changed all the way around. And my sister Tracy will tell you, no, she won't, she wants me to tell you, that things changed so dramatically for Quincy, he stopped hanging out with the rest of the boys. Now, he'd run the streets and do everything they were doing, but he turned into his music. She said he used to lay in his bed, pull the blanket over his head with the flashlight, and he had some form of music that he was studying and trying to learn music. 11 years old, his life changed when God came to him and said, this is what you will do the rest of your life. Yes, Bremerton, this is where it all started. Right here, home for music for Quincy Delight Jones. For the last 2 years plus, I go and spend time with my brother every month. And we talk about everything. And I can tell you that in 2022, Quincy received a birthday present. And it was from Bremerton. And it had his picture, which I'll give you Historical Society. This is Quincy's picture. And this is a picture of the upright piano. And this is Quincy smiling because he knew what you all were going to do in Bremerton. And I want you to know how happy this made him. So City of Bremerton, you embrace poor Black family in your community. And you have embraced, just like Mr. Crutcher, when he came to this community. You embrace countless others that have come to this community, countless others that will come to this community. And look at what magic that you've given the opportunity to happen. People know where Seattle Quincy grew up after he left Bremerton. But this is the center of the bullseye of music for Quincy Jones's life. I want you to know that. Now, as you go forward with the continued development of this Quincy Jones Square, you're going to run into challenges. Your leadership will change, just like the mayor changed. Your council may change, the leadership in terms of the organization, and all the other entities to make this happen are going to change. And you may find yourself being frustrated. You may find yourself sometimes getting your eye off the prize, not knowing exactly, can we afford to do this? Can we do this? Can we make this happen? And you get frustrated. Well, I want to leave you with the mantra that our Father embedded in every one of the kids, and all 8 of us, every single one of the kids. So I want you to remember this. Once the task is once begun, never leave the job until it's done. Be the labor great or small, or do it not at all. Do your very best. Give it 150%. That's what Quincy would expect. You name this facility after him, and that's what he wants you to do. We know that that's exactly how it will go down. Now, for many years, I would go and spend time with Quincy, and the first night I would get there, the second night, we'd stay up all night talking. We talk about life, we talk about love, we talk about success, we talk about failure, we talk about challenges as we went through life. And then one morning, just before the sun came up, we started talking about how we start our days off. We started talking about our daily meditation. What did you think about to start your day? And how you were going to flow for the rest of the day. And so I gave mine and shared with Quincy. We talked about it. And then, being Quincy, Quincy laid down a message of his daily meditation that was mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. I'm going to share it with you. Now, you notice I haven't talked about Quincy's music career at all. very little. We haven't talked about Quincy's music. And you know the reason why? Because if you don't know that by now, you ain't never gonna know. And I'm confident I would do a poor job of trying to summarize everything that Quincy's accomplished in his life. You go look at his autobiography, I started to summarize that, and that was 20-something pages. I'm not gonna do that to you because that's another opportunity for you to get educated. Or go look at his documentary on, I believe it's Netflix. So there's a host of ways that you can learn more about Quincy Jones if you don't know. But what I do want to leave and hope that I have left with you are nuggets of information, nuggets about his life that you probably wouldn't know about or be aware of, and it might not be as detailed in his autobiography. So this early morning, it was in 2013, but when he shared it with me, I listened to it the first time, and I said, this is too important for not to be recorded. So I said, let's do this again, and I'm gonna write it down. And I put it in my own personal diary that I keep. And I'm gonna share it with you. This is the first time this has been read publicly, because the last time this was read publicly was at my brother's passing and the day of his funeral. And this is the program that we have. This is a picture of my brother. And it was entitled A Daily Morning Meditation. And these are his words. I have conscious divine intelligence. I have direct knowledge of truth. I individualize omniscience. I have perfect intuition. I have strong spiritual perception. I know and I am because God is guiding me. God is guiding me with a divine will to always help me continue to build the strongest character that I can always have. To be loved, to respect, to believe in and live with, and can always be there for my children and their families and my friends and their families. And that, the number ones in my life are my health, developing a creative ability, and whatever I'm qualified to do for the world, especially children. Can you imagine? Now, he didn't have to hesitate or stumble when he shared those words. That's how Quincy Jones began every single day of his life. Now, I want everyone to know, I know it's no secret now that Quincy struggled the last year or so of his life, but Quincy was happy every single day. He passed with his family around him. He passed knowing that he was loved. And if we could all have a life as rich, I'm talking about dollar signs, I'm talking about a life as rich, as powerful, and as committed to making a significant impact on the lives of others. Don't worry about Quincy Jones not being here today, because he's here and will always be here and lives through his music. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Judge Jones, for your wonderful and inspirational message to us here in Bremerton. I want to thank you, Judge Jones, and the entire Quincy family. Leslie, thank you for coming over. It's wonderful to have you be part of our family today. We will always think of you as part of our family here in Bremerton. And we're going to have a ribbon cutting this summer. And if you can come back, we would be honored to see you again. Thank you so much.
Okay, now we have some music. Quincy Jones Celebration Orchestra, and featuring celebrated trumpeter Bobby Medina. It's originally from Los Angeles, California. He's performed in more than 20 countries with such legendary artists as Ray Charles, Frankie Valli, Four Tops, Temptations, Wayne Newton, Chubby Checker, Mel Torme, and that's just to name a few. His recognizable sound has been featured on numerous recordings, television commercials, radio jingles, and national touring productions of Chorus Line's Singing in the Rain and Secret Garden at Seattle's Fifth Avenue and Paramount Theaters. His musical influences include jazz, Latin, and pop sounds with undertones of world music. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a real treat tonight. Right now, please welcome Bobby Medina, and he'll introduce this all-star band.
Thank you very much. Before we start, I'd like to take a moment just to thank my good friends Wes Larson, Clark Whitney, and Mark Mayberry from World Theater Foundation, without whose vision this project would have never materialized. And our appreciation also goes out to Mayor Greg Wheeler for his forward thinking and leadership on this. And also, yeah, thank you. Also, events like this don't just happen without a great team behind them and a lot of preparation. So special thanks goes out to Jessica Combs from Downtown Bremerton Association, Katie Kitterer from the City of Bremerton, Mikey Goodnow here from the Roxy Theatre, all of the associates involved actually to make this happen. How about a round of applause for everyone involved? Thank you. So one thing I believe I share in common with Quincy Jones is an admiration for working with musicians who come from a diverse range of musical backgrounds. And this leads to interesting and unique collaborations and creates something larger than the sum total of the individuals involved. So right now I'd like to take just a moment to introduce the members of this Quincy Jones Celebration Orchestra. So our drummer today has had the pleasure of playing with some seriously cool artists like Keith Sweat, Michael Henderson, Marion Meadows, and many others. He's definitely played every cool gig in town. And when he's not laying down solid grooves at clubs and festivals around the state, he's busy being the kind of guy who makes every session more fun by just showing up. And his rhythms are as infectious as his personality. So let's give a big round of applause for my buddy, Ronnie Bishop. On bass today, we have a truly outstanding musician who's performed with a humongous list of legends, including Yanni, the Fifth Dimension. Everybody remember the Fifth Dimension? Jazz vocalist Kurt Elling, and so many more that I'm starting to think he might secretly be a time traveler. So we've played over the years all over the place together, and we've been friends for decades. And a fun fact, we're both originally from Los Angeles, California, so let's make some noise for bass player extraordinaire, Mr. Osama Fifi. Our pianist today is one of the most respected and accomplished musicians in the Pacific Northwest. Basically, he's a musical wizard. He's a Grammy-nominated, multi-platinum award-winning recording artist and composer, because one award just isn't enough for him, I guess. Over the years, he's toured the US and Europe with legends like Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, the incredibly soulful Alan Stone, and the Northwest band Industrial Revelation. He's also played at some of the most iconic venues in the world, like Red Rocks Amphitheater, Ryan Auditorium in Nashville, and the legendary Bonnaroo Music Festival Down Under. Oh, and did I also say he's got the coolest beard in the entire Pacific Northwest? Seriously, it's almost a local landmark. So give it up for me in welcoming the multi-talented, beard-tastic Josh Rawlings. This next fine young man hails from the Evergreen State here in Washington, and he's not just any musician, oh no. He's graced the stage of the Spokane Symphony, Tacoma City Ballet, Olympia Symphony, Yakima Symphony, Wenatchee Symphony, because why settle for one symphony when you can collect them all? He's also taken his talents to some pretty swanky places like Carnegie Hall, Benaroya Hall in Seattle, because why not, I guess. Well, when he's not busy being a symphonic superstar, he enjoys the finer things in life, like hanging out with jazz musicians and indulging in the occasionally high-cultured evening of debauchery. You know, just the usual kind of thing. So put your hands together, please, for our good friend on trombone, Mr. Zach McClure. On tenor sax, I have a dear friend I've known now for 40 years plus. Yes, 4 decades, and they go by fast. We've shared a lot of adventures together, including performing on cruise ships, backing up superstar concerts, playing festivals, and probably a few questionable decisions along the way. His resume, well, here's just a small list of legends. Bobby Caldwell, Dianne Schuer, Rosemary Clooney, the Seattle Symphony, and national Broadway tours like Kiss of the Spider Woman. You know, no big deal. He's been around the block and probably the globe a few times. But today he's here to bless us with his saxophone skills. Originally from Pasadena, California, my very good friend and ex-neighbor, Mr. Nathaniel Paul Schleich. Our very sax player has done everything from performing with internationally known artists to being a regular fixture with the Seattle Repertory Jazz Orchestra and the Seattle Symphony. So yeah, he's kind of a big deal. But hold on, there's more. Not only is he a world-class musician, but he's also a passionate educator who teaches both tap, dance, and music. So I'm convinced he's the only person who can get a group of kids to play a flawless melody while tapping in perfect sync. So let's give it up for the incredibly talented multitasker, Alex Dugdale. Now, there's a lot of things I'd like to tell you about our next artist, but we're in public now, so I'm unable to divulge that kind of information. But what I can say is I've known this guitarist for so long. I'm pretty sure we toured together during the Reagan administration, maybe even before that. This guy is the real deal. He's considered one of the top jazz guitarists in the entire country, according to Jazz Improv magazine, which I'm pretty sure is almost about the jazz equivalent of getting an Oscar. Oh, and fun fact, he's the only guitarist who was mentored by not one, but 2 legends of the jazz guitar, both Herb Ellis and Joe Pass. Like, can you imagine the pressure of that? And you thought your parents were tough on you. When he's not busy being a living jazz legend, he performs as a solo artist and with his own groups. In fact, he even performed at the iconic Apollo Theatre in Harlem for Ella Fitzgerald's 100th birthday celebration alongside the likes of Liz Wright, Patty Austin, Cassandra Wilson, and many more. And he tours everywhere, North America, Europe, Asia. I think he's basically got a permanent seat on every Delta International flight. And as if that's not enough, he's got a great voice to boot. So let's give it up for the multi-talented, jet-setting, guitar-slinging, swinging sensation, my old pal, Brian Nova.
Welcome back, Brian.
It's good to be back. If I'd known all that, I would have practiced it. I'm glad I tuned up a little bit. We're going to start off with a song that I think is synonymous with Quincy. Quincy once talked about getting the call, which is, for most musicians, a very elusive thing. But when you get the call, that is the legitimate. That's a sense of legitimacy that we all strive after. Quincy got the call from Frank Sinatra Frank wanted to make that next step in his career. He wanted to get more of a swinging, hipper sensation going that he wasn't getting with his previous musical directors and arrangers. Frank knew there was one guy on the planet that could make this happen. So he called Quincy. And of course, Quincy rose to the occasion. And their first record was called Sinatra and Basie, the Count Basie Orchestra. Quincy Jones is arranger and musical director. And a fun fact, I'm sure the judge will know all about, one of Quincy's best pals, Buddy Catlett, they went to high school together at Garfield, and one of the legendary bassists in our area in Seattle, the whole Northwest. He's also on this record as well. Quincy took him in a recording session with him for this landmark recording. So we're going to do a piece of music from that recording. Fly me to the moon, let me swing among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship, I adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Yeah, boy! Let me sing forevermore, because you are all I long for, all I worship, and I adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you.
Thank you so much, everybody. This concludes this part of the event, and we'd like to invite you all to make your way out to the street for the next part of the ceremony.
Hey, congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Test. Test.
Do you want to sign? You want to sign? Here.
No, no,
you
I'm
don't?
just gonna
You
shoot.
You can shoot.
I'm just gonna shoot.
Okay.
Cool, that's why.
They were like, no, literally, like our one thing was we usually like the studio and was like that like people have a space to actually use. He was like, and that was like a part of it. Like, I'm really glad I have a space for you to use that. It is something where like I used to when I was like, I usually take
You want to get up on this thing? Stand up on this?
I was thinking about it.
I'm going to stand up on it.
Are you?
Nice outfit there. You up for a beer afterwards?
You guys wanna go down to
Horse and Cow, maybe? See if, hey, John, you up for a beer afterwards? Okay. Horse and Cow, okay? How's work going?
Good. Everything's going good. How are you?
Well, I'm retired.
I know.
I'm shutting down 2 of my 3 businesses and starting to leading the insurgency, counter the insurgency here in Kansas County. So, anyway, I've got a number of things planned. This is the first one.
Yeah, it's a big year. It's gonna be a big year.
we need to rename the state to the People's Dystopian Democratic Republic of Washington. That's what I refer to it.
It doesn't matter what you do.
So it's poor people in Oregon too, man.
Man, I just feel it.
I didn't like mayonnaise or anything. Actually, really repulsive content. To quote Marty. We don't know how many of the lawsuits. So there are multiple lawsuits. City employees, former city employees, suing the city of She's suing the city. There are individuals whose civil liberties were violated because the court didn't do what they're supposed to do. There was false arrest, there was false imprisonment. That's what we know.
Yeah, right there in the chat.
Nice and cool out here. I recognize quite a few people coming out of it.
Yeah.
There's Kerry Bozeman.
I saw him. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. You might want to gather out in the street. We're going to shoot the photographs back this way, so just come on out, gather in the street. We'll get this going in just a few minutes. All right, as you're exiting the rest There's plenty of room out in the street. If you just gather out in the street here.
I saw her. Yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. As you filter out of the Roxy, you can gather in the street. There's plenty of room still out in the street to gather, and you'll be able to see the groundbreaking. We're going to take the photographs back in the direction towards the Roxy. So if you're standing under the sign right now, you'll be in the photo.
There's Commissioner Walters, County Commissioner.
Gosh, I gotta shake her hand. She helped me out just recently, just a few weeks ago.
Good.
I gotta go find her.
She seems decent.
She's helped me out with some stuff out of where I'm at, so.
Around the county?
Yeah. She's my commissioner. I've called her twice.
District 3, right? Yeah.
And she's came through both times for me.
There's Greg Wheeler with the broom handle at his house. Hey Greg, you're in the way. You're blocking the view. Hey Greg, you need to resign. You helped destroy our municipal court. Hey Greg, you helped destroy our municipal court. You need to resign. You helped destroy our municipal court. Thank you very much. You're incompetent. Hey folks, we have an incompetent person in the mayorship. He helped destroy our municipal court. Thank you very much, Greg. God, I love the First Amendment. Don't you folks?
Also trying to celebrate something.
Yeah, I'm celebrating our First Amendment.
Steve Rice.
Got a problem with that? Good.
Mr. Crutcher. Judge Jones.
Why don't you put your ass on the line for this country?
Akuyea Vargas. Robert Harris.
You like that? Oh my God, someone doesn't love me.
Have a scoop. Come on up for a photograph, please.
All right, how much? Jessica, right here?
Judge Flood, you need to resign. You destroyed our court. Resign now. Resign. Resign from the court. Resign. You have been censured and suspended. This is what we're dealing with, folks. We have bad government in Bremerton. Yeah, good. Yeah, right. Resign. Resign. Save us the money in the household, please.
Why don't you quiet? We're paying attention to something that's going on here.
Oh, you're paying something? You're taking something in court? Good.
That's already taken care of. Don't worry
Resign.
about it.
Oh, man, this ain't the place for that.
That's
It is.
right.
It's actually a First Amendment.
It's not the place for that, bro.
Oh, yeah?
It's
What
not
are you
the
gonna do
place
about
for
it?
that, bro.
Hey, you got him on camera.
I don't care about your camera. This ain't the place
You
for
gonna do
that,
something
bro.
about that?
Yeah, we trying to do something public.
Hey,
this is private property. Don't touch it. You can be arrested for that.
Arrest me then.
Hey, police volunteers, thanks for volunteering.
Hey,
This ain't the place for that, bro.
Are you going to let law and order get destroyed in our city just like it did in Tracy, bro?
This ain't the place for that, bro.
He destroyed my private property.
This ain't the place for that, bro.
This is not what this is.
You brought this here to
This is a protest against Tracy Flood for running our court.
You know what? That's been done with, buddy.
He came in
Hey,
and assaulted me.
that's been done.
Tell him to walk away.
Just be quiet.
Tell him to walk away. He's the criminal.
But can I tell you one thing?
I was being quiet until he destroyed my property.
Get this for the judge.
This is not about Judge Floyd. This is about Quincy Jones. She's a part of this.
It's about the city of Bremerton and the public and the
I
taxpayers.
understand that, but look, Quincy
Judge, you
Jones
serve
is-
us. She serves us. She works for us.
I understand that.
She has failed. She has failed us.
I understand that. And I
Do you agree with that? You read the CJC decision in order?
Get that out my face, bro. Get that out my face. You don't have no right to film me. Get that out my face, bro. Get that out my face. Get it out my face. Get it out my face, bro. Get it out my face. Get it out my face.
Don't touch.
Don't put it in my face. This is my personal space.
No, I'm here for defense charges. Let's get it.
Don't put it in my face.
No. You got him again. Get him out of here. Yeah. You're done, dude. You are done. You're done, man. You are done. Coward ass. I'm gonna wait with you. Let's get him.
He's coming in rubbing his butt on my groin.
I know. I see it. I got it on video. He's going to jail.
I know, right?
Stop touching me. Move. Move me. Move me.
Don't do this right now.
Could have went to our courtroom with that shit. Y'all come here for this. This ain't the place for that.